I've been asked to comment on the topic of benevolent sexism. What is benevolent sexism? Well, benevolent sexism is the sort of old-fashioned behavior towards ladies, opening the doors for them, paying at a date, those kind of things. Now, what do I think about that? Well, let's examine the real reason why those behaviors came into being. Because, if you look at the behavior as such, you might think, sure, where is the harm? A little bit of old-fashioned gallantry. You open the door for a lady. When you take her out for a meal, you pay for the meal, It's a nice little anachronism, but, there's no harm in it. But I disagree. Think about it. Why would somebody open the door for a lady? Because, originally, ladies were seen as being unable to perform such simple tasks themselves. They were meant to be ornamental, not meant to be doing physical activities, even opening the door. Why would a lady not pay for a date? Because one would assume that a lady would not be able to cope with her own finances. A lady would not be able to support herself. A lady would be expected to be supported by either her father or her husband. That's the underlying reason, and now suddenly it doesn't seem so nice anymore to do this sort of behavior. So what's the solution then? Do we just become all like, as they say here in Ireland, May Fainers, or people who just look after themselves and to hell with anybody else? No, I don't think so. I really don't think so. But I think we have to be a little bit more, discerning in who we extend such behavior toward. And we also have to be unassuming. So, what does this mean? I think what this means with regard to positive discrimination of any kind, positive sexism in particular, is that you don't just go and open the door for a lady. No, you don't. Not necessarily. But, on the other hand, if you see somebody struggling towards a door with her arm full of shopping bags, regardless of whether you're looking at a man or a woman in that predicament, and then again, you don't just go and open the door, you offer to open the door. That is just plain, simple politeness, and that is the sort of behavior that makes a lot more sense. You could see somebody being all gallant and opening the door for a lady who is well able to open the door for herself, and then letting it swing shut in the face of some poor sod who happens to be male and who is carrying 10 shopping bags. Where's the sense in that? But because it has to be unassuming, you have to offer. So you say, can I help you here? Will I open the door for you? And they'll either say, oh yes, thank you very much, or they'll say, no thank you, I can manage. But in either case, you've done the right thing and you haven't assumed anything. And that would extend to anybody. So, offering to lift something heavy. You could do that if you see somebody struggling to lift something. And again, regardless of whether this is a male or a female struggling that way. And again, you don't presume, you don't just go and lift it for them, you say, can I help you? And if they say yes, you help them, whether they're male or female. When you're out on a date, and somebody is clearly struggling financially, then you offer and say, you know what, I'll pay for this if this is okay with you. And regardless again of whether it's the male or the female you're addressing this to. And again, giving them the option to politely refuse. I think that's the way forward, rather than sticking with anachronisms that make no sense. Are there any exceptions to this? Well, not as a rule, I would say, but we can't ignore the fact that there are some situations, like for example on the job front, where there still is a glaring discrepancy between what men can expect to get in the job and what women doing a similar job could expect to get financially, like salary wise. And in that case, I think there may be some justification in a slight level of discrimination in favor of the female in order to redress that balance. But keeping in mind that that is what it's for, and stopping it when the goal has been achieved.